Hey people, how you doing? Listen, I thought I'd just jump on and talk about a couple of things with regards to safety. We're out there enjoying the ride, having a blast, regaining our youth for some of us like myself, who is old biscuit. I'm feeling 19 again when I'm out there on my bike riding and the wind is blowing and it's beautiful. I mean, the highways, the curves, I'm telling you, it is a blast. But I will tell you this. It is an extremely dangerous thing when you're out there. There's a good friend of mine. He rides a lot. He does a lot of iron butt competitions. And he tells me every time we speak, he says, you have to assume that people are out to assassinate you, that when you ride out there enjoying yourself, assume that people are out to assassinate you. And that put the fear of God in me, to be perfectly honest. And what it does is it makes me be very alert and conscious of not just being out having an incredible time, having fun, but also being very cautious about the pitfalls out there. So I thought I'd talk about 10 things that are out there that could harm us. Number one, I tell people all this time, you want to get into this hobby, you want to get into this for fun, or you're looking for a new means of transportation. I tell them all the time, take a safety course. Take a safety course. In Pennsylvania, the safety courses that we take are free, which is powerful. I mean, you can take as many as you want. They help you even with the tests. It's a great way to jump into it. I found friends that have jumped into it. One woman, she jumped into it, and she's riding a Harley, and a bike in front of her stopped too quickly, and she wound up setting it down, broke her collarbone, tore up her legs with all kinds of road rash. On a safety course, they really help you to make some good decisions when you first get on a bike. I took mine, and boy, I tell you, it was a wealth of knowledge. It was very informative, and honestly, it was a lot of fun. You got a chance to meet some new riders, and you got a chance to exchange numbers and become friends. But I'm telling you, take a safety course. Number two, check the weather before you're heading out. A lot of times you can get out there, it seems nice, you plan on going for an extended ride, or maybe you're driving somewhere and it's an hour, or maybe you're crossing the bridge here in Philadelphia. You can easily cross the bridge, get into Jersey, and you not know the weather's going to be bad. What may start out nice in the day at 40 and 50 degrees, which is okay, it's not great, but by the night it may get down to freezing. And getting down to freezing coming back in the evening, boy, that's a whole different can of worms to deal with. Not only maybe it may rain a little bit and then get cold, and you get icy conditions. Check the weather before you go out. Also, you get out there on the ride and it's wonderful, and then maybe thunderstorms come in later in the day and you don't have your rain gear, and boy, you get wet and say it's just a downpour, and then all of a sudden it stops, and then driving home and you're soaked. Oh, you are freezing. I mean, it is like bone chilling. And what does that do? That gets you distracted from paying attention to things that are on the road. And you don't want to do that. Check the weather before heading out so that you understand the different hazards that are out there for your bike. Two-wheel and three-wheel, very different, but they both have hazards that are associated with the weather. Always check the weather, know what's going on, so you have the right gear and you're anticipating what you're doing when you're out there. The third thing, which I just kind of spoke about, is wear motorcycle gear. Motorcycle gear is important. My friend, she fell over, broke her collarbone, and it was just, a 5-mile-an-hour crash. But even in that, sliding and being under this Harley, it tore up her leg. The skin was ripped off, all on her shoulders and everything. It was extremely painful. Fortunately, her ankle didn't get caught under the weight of the bike. I mean, that's why you wear riding shoes. And I know now, if you got a Ryker, you don't have to worry as much about the bike falling over on you. But boy, you hit that ground. I mean, the road rash is intense, not to mention helmet safety. These crashes, go take a look at some of the YouTube crashes, and you see what happens to folks that don't have a helmet. Go speak to someone who's in the emergency room. When these motorcycles come in and the accidents, what they're looking like, I'm telling you, wear the right gear. I know sometimes it takes away from your cool swag, right? It takes away from the coolness. They got some really cool gear out there. They really do. But I'm telling you, think about your life and your family. Your family needs you around, right? Think about that. Number 4, inspect your motorcycle before you go out. Make sure the tire pressure and everything is right. Make sure your brake lines are everything's okay with that. Make sure nothing's loose that may cause a problem. Make sure, now we got all these wires and chargers and things like that. Make sure your laces are tied up, all these little things. Inspect your bike. Make sure your bike is in top shape and ready to go out and enjoy. That's number 4. Number 5, obey the traffic rules. I know it's easy when you're on a bike. You can decide, I want to weave in and out of traffic to get to the front of the line. One of the problems that we face as a rider, when you break the traffic rules because you've got a bike and you're small and you can go in and out, the thing you have to realize is that other folks are not anticipating you being in a place where you're not supposed to be. They only anticipate, drivers of vehicles, cars, only anticipate cars to be in certain places. And they know that cars can't come in between the lines of cars at stop signs or streets. They know that. They know that the speeds that cars go are relatively slower to that of motorcycles. So they anticipate things that are associated to cars, not motorcycles. So what that means is if you break the law and do something different or go in and out of traffic, they're not paying attention. They'll quickly come over into a lane, not anticipating you being there. They'll open a door just because maybe they want to pour out their Dunkin' Donuts coffee, not knowing you're coming up beside them at a stop sign. These are reasons, good reasons for us to obey the traffic laws. That is so important. A lot of 48% of all accidents, that motorcycle deaths, where they come from? Speed. Wow. You can cut down the ratio of death by almost 50% just by what? Obeying the speed. I think that's so important. Number 6, be visible. Wear light up gear. Let me tell you, I got all kinds of high vis gear, and at night I've got the reflective gear, and I also got lights on my bike. My bike is lit up like a Christmas tree. Check out some of my YouTube videos, you'll see. I do that. Why? So that I'm visible. Most of the accidents that happen with cars involving motorcycles, the person who hit them in the car says, I did not see them. It's maybe a blind spot or something along those lines, or maybe the gear that you're wearing blends in. For whatever reason, it blends in. So what I try to do is wear gear that is abnormal, bright, whether it be at night, bright lights, or whether it be during the day, bright clothing. That way I'm seen. I also have in the front of your bike, one of the things they tell you is if you have a triangle-like light system, where you got one up top, 2 down on the side, drivers of cars tend to see you when you have your lights set up that way. So I've got, obviously I got the Ryker, so I got that middle 2 lights, but then I got 2 lights down on the side, 2 fog lights. They're really bright, and I keep those on during the day. Why? Because they're bright, and it adds to the visibility. And so that's a very easy way to make sure, because what happens at those traffic turns, right? That's when people turn right into you. They act like they don't see, but you got bright lights, high-vis jacket or something like that, you're seen. At night, I light up with very reflective gear, and my wheels light up with the different lights. I put all that on there. That's just something to be very careful. Number 7, be observant and watch for road hazards. When you're riding a bike, you notice how much junk is on the roads. Trash trucks drop out a 2x4 or a big old barrel of paint or things like that. There's all kinds of wood chips, stuff that flies up off the ground. That's why you got to have the proper protection over your eyes and your hands. Stones get up, stay from behind those trucks. Stones pop up, that stuff hits you, boom. This stuff is all a hazard. Roadkill. Man, there's some big deer out there. You got to be careful. Sand, oil. When it first starts raining, what's the first thing? That oil rises to the surface. Know these things when you're out there. Be observant and watch for road hazards. You see brakes lights up way up front, 3 or 4 cars ahead. Understand, Something's gone on. Pay attention. Number 8, stay at a safe distance. You know, a lot of times people just aren't paying attention. And when they're in these cars and they don't pay attention, they slam on the brakes, they hit someone, they're going to be okay. It's you that are not. You're going to hit that car. You're coming off that bike because you don't have a seatbelt, and then somebody's going to ram right into the back of you as well. Stay at a safe distance always. You always want to have at least 4 seconds away from the vehicle in front of you. It's safe. You have no idea who's driving that vehicle. Some teenager that's not even thinking straight, or someone who's intoxicated, not paying attention, someone on that daggone phone, right? All these things, be safe. Be safe. Number 9, carry a first aid kit. You know, if you do fall, something happens, right? You cut your hand, maybe you're tired or something, you get off and you're fixing something on your bike, you tear up your hand or something. Always have a first aid kit. You never know what you may need. Disinfectant, wipes, bandages, anything like that. Things happen on the road. Things happen when you're out there. You're exposed to the elements, and you want to make sure you're always ready. Number 10, take advantage of a riding course. You know, there's all kinds of riding courses out there. Some are really fun. If you want to get into adventure riding, you can get into collision avoidance type classes. You can get into advanced training courses. All of that is always a plus when it comes to riding. It's always a plus. It's enjoyable as well. And these are individuals that are coming from experience. And what are they doing? They are giving you their experience so that you don't have to go through the pain and suffering of having a travesty out on the road while enjoying the ride. Well, hey, these are just top 10, not top 10, but 10 tips to keep riding and be safe. Hey, if you like it, go ahead, like and subscribe. It's good to see all of you. Put your own top 10 in the comment section as well. Listen, it's great connecting with you. Enjoy the ride, my friends.